Okay, hello everyone. Today we are going to continue playing through Marvel Champions, our alphabet challenge. Our next hero that we're going to be playing as in alphabetical order is going to be Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is an Avenger Mystic, and she is going to be a Justice character. So she's going to have these yellow Justice cards in her deck. Her thing is going to be dealing with the villains encounter deck. So she's going to have cards that will force the top card of the encounter deck or top several cards to be discarded off the encounter deck. And then she's going to count the boost icons that are in the corner of those cards. And then use those to boost her abilities and things like that. And then during the hero phase once per phase and during the villain phase once per phase, she can... If a card is discarded, you can get a different one and count the boost icons on that different one instead. So it might be better, might be worse, might be the same, you don't know. On her alter ego side, she has an action that is actually exactly the same as Quicksilver's alter ego action. So on hers, it says discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards, draw 3 instead if Pietro Maximoff is in play. Quicksilver's alter ego ability says exactly the same thing, except it says draw 3 cards if Wanda Maximoff is in play. So that's an ability that they both have. We are going to be playing against the Sinister Six, so a Spider-Man villain today. The way that the Sinister Six works is it's a multiple villain scenario. At the beginning of the game, you're going to start with multiple villains in play, and it's one more than the number of players. Is how many you start with in play. So we're going to start with 2 villains in play, but it wouldn't be the Sinister Six if we only had 2 villains. So the other 4 are on these cards here. So you just pick 2 randomly or pick 1 more than the number of players randomly at the beginning of the game. And then if you defeat them, they will go off to the side. But then defeating the villains is not actually how you win this scenario. With this scenario, you have to win by thwarting this scheme twice. So we have to completely remove all threat from this scheme twice. So if we finish it once, it will flip over, and then it'll get a bunch of threat on it again, and then we'll have to thwart our way through it again. So that's how you win. The way that the multiple villain scenarios work usually is they're going to have some text on them that says who the active villain is, or they're going to tell you to start with a certain villain being the active villain. So in this case, they have an activation order. At the beginning of the game, you start with the lowest revealed activation order. So Kraven has the lowest activation order. So he's going to have this active villain token. And then his text says, after he attacks and damages you, choose and discard 1 support or upgrade you control. And then move the counter to the next villain in activation order. So then if Scorpion were the active villain, he would do his thing, and then it would move to the other one. If there was a third villain, it would move to the third villain. So we can't win by defeating them, but we can defeat them just to not have to deal with all of their attacks and stuff. However, only 1 villain will be active at a time, so only 1 will be scheming or attacking against you each round. You don't have to deal with a combined attack from both of them, thankfully. If for some reason we're able to defeat both of them and have 0 villains in play, the main scheme over here tells us if there would be no villain in play when it activates, then we put a new villain in play by resolving the ambush ability that's on the main scheme. The ambush ability says choose a set aside villain at random and put it into play. And there are other ways that ambush ability can be resolved as well. So that's how we can get more villains in play. And then the other time that you're guaranteed to get that ambush ability resolved against you is when you finish this side scheme the first time. It tells you to resolve the ambush ability and put a new villain in play before you flip it over. Okay, so we're going to want to do a lot of thwarting, which is good when you're playing as a Justice character. However, Scarlet Witch is also pretty good at dealing damage. She's a fairly well-rounded character. However, she is also kind of crazy, literally and mechanically. So she has 2 obligation cards shuffled into the encounter deck instead of the normal 1. And then she also is going to be discarding a bunch of cards from the encounter deck, which makes you go through the encounter deck faster, which will make the main scheme gain acceleration icons if we go through it really fast. There are some risks involved with playing her. All right, so let's look at our starting hand. So I got the Power in All of Us, doubles the number of resources if you're playing a basic card. This is an old card that they reprinted with new X-Men art, so I just threw one of the X-Men art cards in here because I wanted to have it in this deck. I could have swapped it out for one of the original ones, but it doesn't really matter because the text does the same thing. I got a Strength resource card. Nice. All right, I got Meditation. Exhaust your alter ego and play a card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 3. So I can only do that in alter ego form, but that means that I can play some expensive cards for a lot less. All right, I got Homeland Intervention. This particular Justice deck that I have built for Scarlet Witch is fairly shield heavy. So this says exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control and choose a scheme. Remove 2 threat from that scheme for each card exhausted this way. This is one of her attack cards, Molecular Decay. Deal 5 damage to an enemy and discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. For each boost icon, deal 1 additional damage. So this is one of the ones where she has to discard cards off the top of the deck, the encounter deck. And then I got the Peter Parker Spider-Man Ally. After you play Spider-Man from your hand, remove 3 per player threat from a side scheme. I'm probably going to want to play him, and I will do that probably with Meditation to make him cheaper, since I can play allies when I'm in alter ego form. So yeah, so let's do that. So let's go ahead and just play Meditation because it's free. And then we'll use it right away. And we will spend 2 resources. We will use Strength, 2 resources to put Spider-Man into play. And then he removes 3 per player threat from a side scheme. So we're going to remove 3 from Light at the End, and I'll just go ahead and thwart with him right away too for 2, so I'll just pull 5 off of that side scheme. So he'll take a consequential damage for that thwart. All right, it's kind of hard to tell since I've got them stacked up here. This started at 20, so there's still 15 left there. Got a ways to go yet. All right, then I don't have enough to play any of these cards. Power in All of Us doesn't do anything special unless it's playing for a basic card. Neither of these are basic. I need 3 resources to pay for this card. I only have 2 in my hand. This card I could do, but I don't have any shield cards in play right now. I don't think I have anything else I want to do on my alter ego side. I suppose I could do the draw 2 or discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards action on my alter ego side. I think I'm going to hold on to the attack card, and I will discard these 2 cards and draw 2. See if we can't get something that we can play here. All right, so I got the Warp Reality card. When an encounter card is revealed, cancel its effects, discard it. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of boost icons on the canceled card. And then I got the Quicksilver Ally. Cannot pay for the Quicksilver Ally. That is unfortunate. Okay, so I did all of that in alter ego form. Let's flip over to hero form. And Scarlet Witch is a justice character, so she's better at thwarting. So let's just go ahead and do that. Thwart for 2. And I think I will just take it off of the big one. Bring that down to 13. Okay, and then I can't play any of these cards right now, so I will be done. And then I think I'm going to hold on to all 3 of these cards because this is a good villain phase card, and these are both good cards. So I think I'm going to draw 2 to get back up to 5. All right, I got Chaos Magic. Play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to that card's printed resource cost. And then I got Heroic Intuition, which gives me +1 thwart. Chaos Magic. I will definitely be using that card on my next turn. Probably for playing either Quicksilver or Molecular Decay. Either one would be good. Okay, so then it's the villain turn. They're going to get 1 threat on the main scheme. And then Craven is going to be the one that's attacking me. After he attacks me... Oh, sorry. Oh, shoot. I realized I did this wrong. Boom. Boom. For meditation, I would have had to exhaust my alter ego, so then I wouldn't have been able to thwart with her. And then that would have been it. Then I would have readied. Okay, so that would have still had 15, not 13. Okay. Forgot to actually pay the cost of playing the card for 3 less, which is important. Okay. So Craven is attacking me. After he attacks me, he's going to make me discard a support or upgrade I control, which I don't have any right now. So he's just going to attack me for 2. I don't think I need to be readied for anything particular next turn, so I think I'm going to go ahead and defend it. So he's hitting me for 2 plus 2 is 4 minus 2, so I'm going to take 2 damage. And then the boost effect on this card says give the villain 1 additional boost card for this activation. So he's going to hit me for a little bit more. 0 more. Sweet. And he got the advanced card out of his deck. I will take that. Okay, so I took 2 damage. Then he would make me discard an upgrade or support I control. I don't have any. So then he's going to move the active counter to Scorpion. And then I'm going to get an encounter card, which is Frequent Flyers. When revealed, put the set aside Hobgoblin and Vulture into play. If Hobgoblin is already in play, take 2 indirect damage. If Vulture is already in play, discard 1 card at random from your hand. So this one I think is one that I'm going to go ahead and cancel. So I have to pay 1 resource for that. Let's do... I'm going to do... I want to play the Chaos Magic. I'm playing the Warp Reality right now. So which of these 3 cards am I going to want to play on my next turn is the question. I think I want to play the Molecular Decay just so I can try to get rid of one of these guys, hopefully. So I'm going to discard Quicksilver, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to discard Quicksilver in order to play Warp Reality. When an encounter card is revealed, cancel all of its effects and discard it. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of boost icons on the canceled card. So I canceled this card here, and it has 3 boost icons, so I have to discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Got rid of one of my obligations. Nice. Okay, so then I'm going to use Chaos Magic. Play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to its cost. And I'm going to play Molecular Decay. So we're going to discard 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to deal 5 damage to an enemy and discard the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. 1, 2. And count the number of boost icons on it. For each boost icon discarded this way, deal 1 additional damage to that enemy. So 2, 4. So I'm going to deal 9 to Craven to knock him out. And Craven says, when defeated, remove 4 threat from a side scheme, 7 instead if no other villain is in play. All right, so I'm going to remove 4 threat from Light at the End. Okay. Then I am going to use Spider-Man to thwart for 2 on Light at the End. Get that down to 9, and he takes a damage. And then I think that's going to be my whole turn. What is Scorpion going to do? When he attacks me, he's going to stun one character I control. Oh, that's fine. I'll just have him stun Spider-Man because I'm going to use him probably for thwarting anyway. Yeah, okay. I would like to block his attack with Spider-Man, but then Spider-Man will die. So does that mean I should flip to Alter Ego since he schemes for 0? Maybe I should flip to Alter Ego since he schemes for 0. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to flip to Alter Ego form since he schemes for 0. Take the opportunity. And then I'm going to hold on to Heroic Intuition, and I get to draw up to 6 since I flipped. All right, so I got Determination. If you spend it to remove a threat, if you spend it at all, you remove a threat from the main scheme. Power in all of us again. Helicarrier. Exhaust it, reduce the cost of the next card they play by 1. Hexbolt, another damage card or threat card. This is kind of a random card. Discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, and then for each one, you look at how many boost icons it has, and then depending on how many boost icons it has, you do different things. So if it's got none, you deal damage. If it's got 1, you remove threat. If it's got 2, you draw a card. And if it's got 3, you place a status card on a character. So you could stun or confuse the villain, or you could give you or one of your allies tough or something like that. So I've got 5. One more. Homeland Intervention we talked about earlier. Okay. So then villain turn, 1 threat on the main scheme, and then Scorpion schemes for 0 plus 3. Ouch. So schemed for 3. He schemed for 0, and I still almost broke that scheme already. That's crazy. All right. Then I get an encounter card for the round, which is Partnership of Pain. When revealed in Alter Ego form, the villain with the lowest activation order schemes with plus X scheme where X is equal to the total scheme of all other villains in play. So he schemes for 0 again. And I don't have any way to cancel that. So he schemes for 0, 3. Okay, so that'll set off this scheme. That's unfortunate. The whole point was that he wasn't going to do that. All right, when revealed, choose a random set-aside villain, put it into play, and place the active counter on it. Okay. And then the front side is the same. Man, I hate these schemes that have such low threat values. Especially, like, there was 0 reason that he should have been able to finish that. Like, 2 schemes on a 0... 2 schemes with a 0 scheme villain, and he's pulled 2 3 boost icon cards. Like, that's nuts. All right, so this time we get Vulture. After he attacks and damages you, choose and discard a card from your hand is his negative effect. Okay. All right, well, I guess we're going to be... I should have been thwarting the main scheme a little bit more, but I wasn't expecting it to go from 3 to 7 with a 0 scheme minion or villain, but such is life. Okay. Let's see. So let's do 2 with the power in all of us since I'm playing a basic card. Plus, I should flip to Alter Ego form. So our hero form plus Determination. After you spend this card, remove a threat from the main scheme. So I'm going to spend 3 resources and remove a threat from the main scheme. And I'm going to play Helicarrier. So once per phase, once per round, I can reduce the cost of the next card I play. So I will do that. I'm going to use Helicarrier plus 1 card from my hand to play... let's do Hexbolt. Discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck and count the number of boost icons. So top one has 1, so we will remove 2 threat from a scheme. Just get rid of all of the threat on the main scheme for now. So that's 1. Second card has 1, so we will remove 2 threat from a scheme. We'll remove it from light at the end. And 3 has 0, so we deal 2 damage to an enemy. Speaking of which, I should give Vulture his health. He has 7. So we'll deal that 2 damage to him and knock him down to 5. Okay, so that was Hexbolt. Then let's do, I'll thwart for 4 from Light at the End. And Spider-Man has to take 1 more damage. And we will then be done. Ready and draw. All right, so I'm going to hold on to Heroic Intuition. I'm going to play it eventually. I need to play it eventually. Scarlet Witch's Crest. When boost icons on an encounter card are counted, exhaust this card, increase or decrease the number by 1. Sorcerer Supreme. You get +1 hand size while in hero form. Dum Dum Duggan. When you use one of Dum Dum Duggan's basic powers, exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. For each card exhausted, he gets +1 to that power. And one more is Agatha Harkness. Alter Ego, exhaust her. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 to your hand, the rest on the bottom in any order. Okay. So they get 1 threat on the main scheme. And then they are going to, let's see, Vulture is going to attack me for 2. And he's going to make me discard a card from my hand. Let's see. Should I just take this one? I think I'm just going to take this one. So he's going to hit me for 2, 0. Nice, just 2. I will take that. But then I have to discard a card from my hand. Even with the 1 resource cost reduction from the Helicarrier, Dum Dum Duggan is just so expensive. So yeah, I think that's the one I'm going to discard. Okay, then the counter goes to Scorpion. Okay, then I'm going to get an encounter card, which is Life-Size Decoy Minion. The engaged player cannot thwart side schemes. Well, that's annoying. All right. So I'm going to need to get rid of him. Okay. Man, that sucks. I don't know how to get rid of him right now. I don't really have a way to get rid of him right now. All right. Well, I'll use the Helicarrier to make the next card I play cost 1 less. And I will pay 1 to play the Sorcerer Supreme to give myself +1 hand size when I'm in hero form. I'll just set this guy over here for now. Oh, you can't really see that, can you? Let's slide some of this stuff over a little bit. Life-size decoy. I need to just kill him so he goes away. And then, man, I guess we'll just do 3 damage on the life-size decoy with Scarlet Witch and Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man is going to get knocked out. And then I think that's all I'm going to be able to do this turn. So we'll go ahead and ready. And I'm going to hold on to Heroic Intuition and Scarlet Witch's Crest and draw 4 cards because I increased my hand size by 1. So I drew a Surveillance Team. Comes in with counters, and you can remove a counter to remove a threat. Another Surveillance Team. Molecular Decay damage card. And one more. Field Agent. So Field Agent. When a shield ally would take any amount of consequential damage, exhaust it, and remove one backup counter from it to prevent one of that damage. Okay, so they're going to get one threat on the main scheme. Then, let's see, Scorpion is going to attack me for 3. So I'm going to defend that. He hits me for 3, 4. I take 2. And then he's going to stun a character I control. So I am stunned, which is unfortunate. Then active counter moves to Vulture. Okay, then I take an encounter card, which is the villain and each minion engaged with you attacks you. So I'm going to take 2, 5 more. And that is going to kill me. All right, well, I was doing all right. I mean, I removed 17 threat from light at the end. There was a couple turns where I should have probably thwarted the main scheme just a little bit, just to make it so he didn't scheme out through that first scheme in one turn like he did. And then this life-size decoy didn't help. Man. I could have flipped to Alter Ego I probably should have flipped to Alter Ego that turn so I didn't get attacked, but I really didn't want to have them scheme out again and make me lose that way. So, all right, well, that is that. So I will next game will be Shadowcat versus Spiral. So Spiral is one of the Mojo villains. So we'll be doing Shadowcat versus Spiral next. So keep an eye out for that. All right, thanks guys.